What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I'm going to cover a topic that I normally don't cover. You know, I'm normally into politics, but we've got a case going on in New York that is something I think needs to be discussed, and we're going to have a discussion about this. But before we get into that right quick, I need to get you guys to do me a big, huge, giant, large, the biggest favor you've ever done for me. If you don't mind, I would appreciate if you guys could smash that like button for me. And if you're new around here and you want to stay up to date with how you're being manipulated by the corporate press, this is the place to be. Subscribe to this channel, because that's the only way I'm going to grow, you guys, is if you guys subscribe. Because YouTube has placed me in a box because of a video I uploaded a long time ago. It wasn't even me. It was a clip of somebody else. But, you know, needless to say, I've been shadow banned. I've been pushed off into a corner, so I need you guys' help. Subscribe to this channel. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. Tell your friends, tell your family. You want some news, you want the truth, you want to know how you're being manipulated, come over here to Political Overwatch. That is right. Logical Response is the name of the program, but the channel name is Political Overwatch, and that's what we do around here. But let's go ahead and get into this thing right quick, because this is just a crazy story, and I think it's something we need to discuss. So let's get into it right quick. Check this out. Manslaughter charge against Daniel Penny dismissed. Lesser charge still looms. Now, if you don't know about this case, Daniel Penny is a Marine veteran, as a matter of fact. And, you know, he's just a good, upstanding dude. Lives up in New York. There was this guy named Jordan Neely. Was on I think it was on a subway. It might have been a train. I'm not sure. Or it might have been a bus. Something like that. It was on some sort of city transport. I forget exactly. I apologize for that. But so anyway, this guy, he's on some sort of drugs, and he's threatening people, right? He's threatening to unalive people on the bus. He's just going on this crazy tirade, just ranting about all kinds of stuff, threatening people, and he's getting irate pretty much, and about to become belligerent at this point. So what Daniel Penny does, he steps in before this guy commits some sort of assault on somebody or anything like that. Steps in and puts him in a chokehold, right? And the guy ends up dying. Now, there was a big old upstorm about this. You know, the BLM people, they came out and, you know, was trying to go for his neck. And, you know, it was a giant story. I'm sure you guys know about this story. And the thing is, I don't think the guy's guilty of anything, right? Of definitely not what they're charging him with, right? The dude was trying to save other people. This guy was, you know, Neely was threatening people, threatening their lives, you know, all kinds of stuff. People were actually scared for their lives, and this guy comes in, puts him in a chokehold, didn't mean to kill him. As a matter of fact, you know, when the guy was unconscious, after the fact, he rolls him into the recovery position so he can recover, because once you put somebody in a chokehold, you have to roll them over on their side so they can recover or whatever. You know, I'm not going to get too deep off into that, but essentially, he didn't want this guy to die, but the guy ended up dying anyway. But we'll get into that. Let's read the story right quick, and then we'll discuss some of the further topics on this. Check this out, y'all. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which is prosecuting Daniel Penny, has decided to drop the second-degree manslaughter charge against him, hoping jurors can come to a verdict on the lesser charge. Now, if you didn't know, they were pretty much deadlocked as of this morning. This is from this afternoon. As of this morning, they were deadlocked. They couldn't come to an agreement on you know, guilty or not guilty, on a verdict. Sorry, couldn't get that out for some reason. Jurors on Friday said they were deadlocked on whether Penny recklessly caused the death of Jordan Neely on a New York City subway train last May, prompting Judge Maxwell Wiley and Assistant District Attorney Daphne Yoren to discuss the possibility of dropping the manslaughter charge against journalist Matthew Lee reported. After discussing it with her colleagues, Yoren told the judge that the DA would like to dismiss the manslaughter charge against Penny, which could have landed him up to 15 years in prison, as Lee reported. Penny's attorneys argued that such a move would be coercing the jury, but the judge, who has been favorable to the prosecution throughout the trial, disagreed. Judge Wiley then asked Yoren what he should tell the jury, Lee reported. I don't know why they keep throwing that in there. Lee reported this. Who cares? To which she responded that the judge shouldn't tell them that this is an acquittal on the manslaughter charge, but simply that it has been dismissed. Pena's attorney, Thomas Kenneth, shot back that such a tactic had not been used before and could create a precedent where prosecutors overcharge someone with the option to withdraw the top charges if a jury cannot make a decision. This makes a very good point right here. Right? Prosecutors just come in and just overcharge everybody and with the ability for a lesser charge. No, that's not how the criminal justice system is supposed to work. You charge somebody for what you believe they are guilty of, and then you let that go to trial. If they are found not to live up to that guilt, right, then they are acquitted of those charges. That's it. You can't go after them on lesser charges. I'm sorry, that's not how our criminal justice system is supposed to work. This is why the district attorneys are funded by the government for, because they represent the people's interests. But this is why they have staff. This is why they have law experts, all this stuff, so they can research this. They look at all the evidence, and then you base your prosecution upon that evidence. You don't up the charges, for crying out loud, and then say, oh, well, we can just charge them with a lesser charge. No, that's not how this is supposed to work. I am sorry. This is just not how this is supposed to work. But they don't seem to care up in New York. These people, in my opinion, are evil for putting this guy on trial for second-degree manslaughter. That's like intentional, like he intended to unalive this guy. It's just insane to me that they're doing this. Right? And they're wanting to lessen the charge to negligent homicide, as if Daniel Penny was negligent or even still intended to do this for some right. Like, I know negligence doesn't necessarily mean intent, but negligence is pretty much him just being reckless and not giving a dang whether the guy lived or not. Which that's not the case. If you look at all the videos, you look at all the evidence. As a matter of fact, there's video evidence of people thanking Daniel Penny after all this took place, after everybody got off the subway. They're thanking this guy, like, thank you, you saved my life. But these people are evil. They don't see that. They see, oh, this guy died and he was a black guy. So, automatically they go to the identity politics and start calling for racism and blah, 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 blah. And it's just utter ridiculousness. Well, you know what? If he doesn't live up to the second-degree manslaughter charge, which obviously he don't because the jurors are deadlocked. They can't figure out if they want to go ahead, right, find him guilty. So, obviously, it doesn't live up to that. But looking at all the evidence, just plain out, right? Yeah, they shouldn't have went that route anyway. It's just absurd what they're doing. It really is. After this exchange, the judge again sided with the prosecution and told the jury they would return on Monday to deliberate on the lesser charge of criminally negligent homicide. If convicted on this charge, Penny faces up to 4 years in prison. The prosecution has argued that Penny, a 26-year-old Marine veteran, held Neely in a chokehold for 6 minutes in May 2023, causing Neely's death. Penny's defense, meanwhile, has argued that there is doubt about whether Neely died from the chokehold or if he died due to his medical condition and the drugs in his system at the time of his death. Jurors have been asking to review crucial evidence in the case, including videos from the incident and Penny's police interrogation, during which he was not told Neely had died. That's right, so he didn't know this guy even died at all. So, you put somebody in a chokehold, that's meant to incapacitate these people. Right? It's not meant to unalive them. Right? And I'm having to say that. I'm sorry, y'all, but it's YouTube's rules. That's just, you know what I mean. But, that's not the intent. Clearly, a chokehold is not intent on causing the death of somebody else. Right? Especially in this situation when he clearly, it's on video, rolls him over into the recovery position. He just held the chokehold for a little bit too long, right? It was an accident. This guy was threatening people, for crying out loud, right? So if this case goes through, this precedent is going to be set that, okay, so now if anybody is threatening violence against anybody else and is being irate and becoming belligerent, for crying out loud, What are we supposed to do about this? Are we supposed to just allow somebody to assault somebody else? Right? I'll call the cops. Like, really? Is that the type of world you want to live in? Right? So in Philadelphia, I think last year, there was people on a subway train. A guy assaulted a woman on the subway train. Right? Somebody was videotaping the whole thing. Nobody did anything at all. This is indicative of something much deeper that's going on in our society right now. People not wanting to get involved. Like, how morally cowardice do you have to be to see somebody getting assaulted? Like it was a man assaulting a woman, if you know what I mean. On a subway train, in front of everybody. And nobody did a damn thing about this. This is the world that Democrats are creating for us, because this is all Democrat strongholds, right? Philadelphia, New York. These places are Democrat strongholds. They've been ran by Democrats for a very, very long time. Democrat policy has been implemented in these places for a very, very long time. So, this is the result of Democrat policy. Chaos, y'all. Chaos. And this is what we're trying to stop. This is what Daniel Penny was trying to prevent. Somebody from getting assaulted and everybody just standing around videotaping this thing and nobody doing a damn thing to try to stop it. That's evil, in my opinion. Right? It's just outright evil that they would allow for this to take place. And nobody's going to try to stop it. Well, you might argue, oh, well, we don't want a bunch of vigilantes out there. No, that's not what we're saying at all. A vigilante is indicative of something totally different than a good, upstanding citizen trying to prevent crime. That's not vigilantism, for crying out loud, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. I have no proof for this. But it logically makes sense, doesn't it? There's a vast difference between a vigilante going after criminals and a good, upstanding citizen trying to break up a fight or stop somebody from assaulting somebody else. But this is the world that Democrats have created for themselves. These are the same people that they want bail reform. They just want to get rid of cash bail outright and just let criminals right back out onto the street, knowing there's a danger to the citizenry. That's insane to me. That is outright, ridiculously, absurdly insane. There we go. I got 3 qualifiers to throw in on top of insane. But it's just absurd what they're trying to create here. And it makes absolutely no sense as to why people would go along with this and think it's okay. And some of these people obviously wanted a guilty verdict. That's why they were deadlocked. That's absurd to me. How could you find this guy guilty of second-degree manslaughter? That right entails intent. That means he intended to do this, intended to cause harm. No, I'm sorry. I am sorry. It's clear from the evidence. It's clear from the video evidence. There was no harm intent. Incapacitation was what was intended to stop this man from committing a crime. The guy said, he was screaming, somebody's going to today, and that he doesn't care if he goes to jail for the rest of his life. That's what he said. What do you do in that situation? Leave a comment down below. Let's keep going. They have also asked Wiley to reread the definitions of reckless and negligence, the Daily Wire reported. Why do they keep throwing that in there? Right. Okay, so understanding those definitions are pretty much necessary to come to an agreement if that is within the definition of the charge. Obviously. So obviously some of these people are second-guessing this charge. That tells you that right off the top. Jurors have also asked to be reread portions of New York medical examiner Dr. Cynthia Harris's cross-examination, where she testified that she made the determination Neely died due to asphyxiation based on video alone before the toxicology report came back. That right there should completely disqualify her testimony. Outright. The jury should be instructed to strike that from their memory if they can. Like, why was she even allowed to testify? She drew a conclusion before she had all the evidence. What good investigator of any sort, medical investigating, detective, whatever, what investigator draws a conclusion before they have all the evidence? That should be grounds for dismissal, in my opinion. Right there. That alone. That is absurd to me, that they're still allowing this to go on, and the judge just agrees to lessen the charge. That's going to set a very, very dangerous precedent in this country. Right? Like, it's multiple choice now, once again, coming from New York, just like with Donald Trump. This is another reason why I covered this, because this is so reminding me of Donald Trump. You have a multiple choice. You don't like this charge? Oh, we'll lessen the charge and see if you agree again. That is not how this is supposed to work, y'all. Once again, this is all just absurd to me. And, you know, look, I understand what's going on. People want justice. People want justice. Sure, the guy died. There needs to be some sort of consequence for that. But anything having to do with homicide, I'm sorry. No. It was an accident. It's clear to see that from all the evidence that I've seen. Now, I'm not in the courtroom. I don't have everything, obviously, because I'm down here in Southwest Louisiana. So I'm not in New York. But it's clear from everything that I saw, all the video evidence I've seen, people thanking this guy. They saved their lives. That he saved their lives. That tells me a lot, that there was no intent for homicide at all. At all. He rolled him over into the recovery position. I know I've said that 3 times now. But I need to make that quite clear to everybody, that right there proves that he did not intend to unalive this guy. Yeah, this is all just crazy. That's the end of that story. But like I said, you know, this is not my normal topics. I'm usually just deep off into the politics. But, you know, there's a little bit of politicking up in here. But it just blows my mind that people are considering what's almost tantamount to murder on this. It's like, no, not that charge. I'm sorry. Not that charge. That's crazy to me. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this. Have y'all kept up with this court case at all? Did y'all hear about it when it came out? I'm sure you did. It was all over the national news. It was all over the dang place. But I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section. Do you think he's going to be let off? Do you think they're going to find him not guilty? It's not looking like that. It really isn't. We've got some people that are just evil and they want to prosecute this guy. They don't care. They want to bend and break the rules to get this guy. Pretty much a hero. He saved people's lives, probably. Right? It's not a guarantee, but probably. This dude was irate. He was on drugs. And it's like, you know, what do you do with somebody who's threatening other people? And it looks like he may just do it. Doesn't care if he goes to jail for the rest of his life. What do you do in that situation? It's just insane to me. But y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for this one. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can, because I need your help, y'all. Straight up need your help. And y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.